Alright, welcome to the Saturday night WoW live stream. As you can see, our first attempt at the Ultra Nightmare hard mode leveling challenge in retail failed. We died out here in Outlands. I can actually pull up the death right now. At level 23. I was doing the Unyielding Souls in Outland, and I don't know, I just pulled too much. It was just kind of brain dead at the end of the night. And running away, like I shadow melded and then moved for some reason, so no aggro drop combat. Kind of stood there for a second, and that was the end of the first run, unfortunately. Not very good, I would say. But it's okay. We're gonna start our second run now. And I don't want to be Night Elf again. Just to mix it up. Kinda want to be an orc. Just in case this run fails, we can go back to the Alliance on the next run. But, you know, we're just gonna randomize it till we get something acceptable. Sure. What are the dragon classes? Let's see. Oh, you're talking about the Drakthir. I can't do it on this server, but because you have to have a level 50 character on this realm, which I don't. I started this challenge on a brand new realm on Frostmain. Yeah, on Frostmain. But yeah, so they have 3 classes: a DPS, a healer class, and like what is Evoker? Yeah, so they have three specs they can be. They have a healer, a DPS, and then they have like a support class, like straight support. So it buffs the other members in your party so they can do more damage or healing, which is really cool. I haven't really played Evoker or Drakthir just because I'm not into it. Like, I don't know. It gets away from World of Warcraft to me once you start getting into these dragon type classes. Even the Volpira doesn't really vibe with my idea of a adventure RPG type game. In this world, at least, like, I'm not into it. I stick to the base classes like Tauren, Undead, Orc, Troll, Blood Elf. I barely like the Zandalari Troll. I don't like all the other Alliance classes like the Void Elf, the Light Forged, Dark Iron, or the Kultoran. Even though the Kultiran are like classic classes, they've been in the lore for a very long time. I don't vibe with them. I don't know. Even the Pandarian, like, they've been in the lore since I think Warcraft 2. But I don't know. It doesn't vibe with my idea of World of Warcraft. I stick to the, like, Night Elf, Human, Dwarf, the real basic classes. So yeah, we're gonna have to start our new guy, and we're gonna call him Son of Voltorb, the Redemption. Undead Death Knight. Yes, whenever I made I think flavor wise that sounds, I think, the best, right? Undead Death Knight, because they're literally being raised from the dead to become a soldier, a necromancer type in Arthas's army, basically.
The great cataclysm has shattered more
or really,
than just
I should
the
say
world.
the Lich King's army. But yeah, I vibe with that for sure. Just because also Death Knights, they've been in the game for a long time too, or the lore, I should say. All right, let's get all this basic stuff out of the way. My favorite skin for details is the WoW interface one. I don't know. I think it fits with everything else, or at least the old UI. I thought it fit really well. And it's been a few days since we streamed World of Warcraft. I haven't given up on the challenge. I've just been playing a lot of Pal World. That's the only reason. Yeah, that's pretty much the only reason we haven't been streaming WoW. But we're back on it now. I got the urge to get back into Azeroth. Let's see. Yep, that's what I want right there. Cool. I will miss being or having Shadow Meld from Night Elf, though. That I will say that. Slash, what is Gladius? Hide? Is that the... Okay, cool.
Your blades never dull.
But this run should also go smoother because I'm a lifelong Horde player, and I definitely know my way around Kalimdor than I do what's the name? Eastern Kingdoms. And plus just all the Horde quests I just know a little bit better, especially Orc. And then what was the game you were telling me about before I hopped on stream? What was it called? Because we're probably gonna do a dual stream of that game tomorrow. Enshrouded. Yeah, that looks fun. Looks like a mixture of like Oblivion, Valheim, and some other builder games. So I'm excited for that. And then I don't think we're gonna go. We're not gonna go the same route we did last time. I think we're just gonna go. We're gonna stay kind of in these starter quests for a while for Orc, and then jump to Legion probably just to change it up a little bit. I still plan on going back to Outland. Like, I'm not scared to go to Outland. I made a dumb mistake going out there, or with that pool that ended in my last run, but I'll eventually make my way back out there again. But just to mix it up, probably going to go to Legion for the first expansion. And I don't know if there's a skip for your characters on a realm where you're doing a fresh start. So, because I know on all my other servers, like you can just skip all the intro stuff, but I don't know if you can do that here. So we'll see. Go ahead, delete our Hearthstone. We don't need that. From what I can tell on the game, I don't have a carry weight limit. Does that not kind of kill it for you, though? I don't know. I feel like that's part of the whole survival base building genre. The kind of one of the attractions for me is you got to work your way up through the your carry limit during a game. You know, like you start off like 150-pound weight limit, and then you work up to like 200, 225, 275. I mean, I don't like making my life harder, don't get me wrong. Read the lore. You have more things to craft. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't like making my life harder. It's just, I don't know, it's just that kind of submersive dive into that world, like, oh, I gotta be concerned about how much stone, how much wood, and how much leather I have to carry, because I gotta worry about the weight. I can't have too much medicine. I can just hear a bunch of people right now being like, dude, shut up, don't give them any ideas. Like, we don't want carry limits. It's fine the way it is. Because I feel like the more, what's the term I'm looking for? The more I feel like I'm actually in the world in an RPG, it just adds to the enjoyment for me. Like, even if it's making my life harder, it just seems, I don't know. Like, it's supposed to be that way in this world. It's not supposed to be easy. Everything's supposed to be difficult until you work your way up to where things aren't difficult. And then you've achieved something in the game. Because if you tuned into our other streams, we've also been streaming, I wouldn't say a lot, but a couple of Palworld base building. We're trying to recreate Helm's Deep from Lord of the Rings. I say recreate, but really we're just, it's a Helm's Deep inspired base in Palworld. But and they said they're already going to do it, but I hope they drastically improve upon the base building in that game, because it could be so good, but it's really clunky right now and not very intuitive. They just need to tighten some things up, and it could be a really fun experience.
Speak, friend. Strength, be safe.
And I don't know, one thing I really enjoy about World of Warcraft, though, is starting a new character, especially as an orc. I have always loved this quest, the lazy peon, where you go around and hit the sleeping guys in the head to wake them up so they can go back to work. That's one of those nostalgic vibes, you know, from playing this game. It never fails. Because I could run this quest over and over again and I will never get tired of it. Yeah, but I will definitely miss having Shadow Meld, though. That got me out of some tight situations on the first run. Because even at low levels, not having any gear, you can just unexpectedly get hit for 2/3 of your health from out of nowhere. And if you accidentally pull like 3 or 4 mobs, just having that option to instantly go stealth and drop aggro, it's so nice. But we don't have it anymore. It's alright. We have Blood Fury. Which, you know, if it lets us do a little bit more damage every couple minutes, fine with that too. Not as useful, but, you know, fine with that too. Plus the orc racial is reduced stun duration. It's always nice. But yeah, if you haven't watched it, I mean, I just watched it 20 minutes ago, but the Enshrouded, if you go watch a little bit of gameplay of it, which again will be streaming tomorrow night, the way, because I was watching Colin stream, the person I do, it's my podcast partner. He was streaming a little bit of it, and the base building in those mechanics, they look so good. It's very, like, you have a lot of fine-tuned control in there. Like, we're talking like blocks the size of like Rubik's Cube, you know, that you can angle, rotate in and out, all that kind of fine-tune adjustments that you need to like really make your base feel like how you want to design it, like you're an architect from, you know, and I don't know, the 1620s or something, with your little stone and wood hut.
Something to do?
And we did start the stream a little late tonight, so I don't know how long we're gonna go. But if we can get to like a level, I don't know, 15 maybe, I would be happy with that. I only ever do like 2-hour streams, so We haven't sat down and done like an 8 hour yet. But tomorrow when we're streaming Enshrouded, we can try to push it. And you can build underground? Yeah, that's cool. Tomorrow, I don't know, if we can push it like a 4 hour stream, that would be cool. But I didn't know, like, we also have all the games tomorrow, so. Which I'm cheering for Baltimore and Detroit. Because I do not want to see Kansas City in another Super Bowl. That's for sure. And I can't stand the 49ers, so we need the Baltimore and Detroit Super Bowl. That would be really cool. Yeah, and I mean, I kind of learned my lesson from kind of rushing out of the starting zone from the first run that we did. So I'm gonna do as many of the entry quests as we can along here. Because after you get out of the orc starting area, you go here to the trolls, and then up to Razor Hill, and all the way through this area up to Orgrimmar, and then you're over in the Barrens, or at least the northern Barrens, and then I think once we reach there, we'll probably, well, I'll say when we reach level 20, that's when we'll start Legion. Pop on War Mode, go to Legion. Hopefully, you know, get some fast levels out of that. Well, as fast as we can be doing, 5 damage to everything, but yeah, I wonder how crazy you can get with building underground in that game. Like, is it like Minecraft crazy where you can just keep going and going? Because if that's so, if you build like this deep like tunnel system like the Mines of Moria or something, that would be insane. That would be intense. You'd actually might go crazy down there. Say you're on like an 8-hour bender underground, like building all these intricate channels through a mountain or something. That'll be intense then. We might get a little bit of that like vertigo / cabin fever, like, oh, where are we? Like, we dig up, get out, we're going insane. We gotta get the hell out of here. And then you haven't been digging up, you've been digging at like a diagonal, and you just keep going deeper into the earth. And then we never get out. And so we just become mole earthworm people. That might be a little dramatic, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, we don't need that. I don't think I've ever clicked Crackling Jade Lightning except for pulling aggro on a high up mob. Oh, yeah. We're geared now. Also, just to put this out there, Aging with 8-Bit did just create a TikTok channel. So you can go check that out as well. I mean, all the shorts on it are the same shorts that are on YouTube, but, you know, if you feel like showing some support over there, head to Aging with 8-Bit on TikTok. Even though we've had the channel for, I don't know what, 7 months now, and I just made the TikTok, so I've been pretty lazy. Like, I know you're supposed to be hitting up all these, like, Reddit, TikTok, Facebook to, like, spread your, you know, get the word out on your channel, but, you know, I just get lazy sometimes. I'm just like, oh, you know, YouTube, that's enough. There's a billion people that use YouTube. Like, someone will see it. That's why I'm not in charge of marketing at anywhere I've worked at ever. Yep, it's very, very exciting running back and forth in this zone, but I don't know. I love it. I love this starting area so much. It's just, you know, the first character I ever made was a orc warrior in Wrath, so that's like, that'll always just, you know, favorite class, favorite race, all time. Even though I love Monk. Like, I play Monk, like, every expansion now. It's definitely my favorite. In my heart, it will always be Warrior and Orc, no matter what they release. Because even if they release an Ogre race one day, which everyone's been asking for since BC, it will, which would be really cool to make, it will still be Orc, no matter what. Plus, Orc is just one of those classic races in pretty much any type of adventure, RPG type story, right? Like, you know, you have Orc in pretty much any fantasy world. So it'll always just, it'll hit me in the feels every time I see an Orc. And it was, I mean, it was kind of hard to decide to play this tonight because I really wanted to base build on Pal World. Just because, I mean, I don't know, that game is so addicting. It is, I haven't done anything really like crazy. I think I'm level 24 just thanks to my friends helping me out along the way, but for the most part, I really haven't done much except base build. And as infuriating as it can be, it's still fun. Because if you need a little extra help with anything, you literally have Pokemon. You have a Pokemon army to do whatever you need. They can chop trees, they can mine, gather materials, build stuff for you. It's just so nice. And I mean, I know there's a lot of like controversy surrounding the game right now with Pal World being the whole, you know, the whole knockoff of Pokemon, like a copycat basically, and the use of like AI and, you know, the artist credits and all that jazz. Like, I understand, but damn, is it a fun game. And obviously, I think, you know, credit is due where credit is due, don't get me wrong. And as far as the whole Pokemon copycat, on some of them, on some of the Pokemon, it's like, okay, like, you should have tweaked a little bit more than, you know, the contrast and some of the colors, and just because you put a shirt on them doesn't, you know, make it okay. But a lot of them seem kind of some original ideas. Like the Relaxosaurus, that one is just funny. Like, I don't know, that dude runs around in a very entertaining way, and I can't think of any Pokemon reference to him, but there's definitely some in there where you're like, oh, you're skating a line there, buddy. I know I don't have to attack these guys like they're yellow, but a little bit of extra XP along the way. I never really stated in the rules either that we can't like mine or, you know, herb gather as well, because you do get some decent XP for that. So we might actually pick up those two professions this time instead of just relying on our terrible combat skills. But I'm also, like, I've been out of the loop on Pokemon for a long time. Like, I'm a big fan of Gen 1. That is definitely my favorite. Gen 2 was okay. Like, that's kind of my cutoff. At, like, Gen 3, I'm like, okay, I don't really care anymore. Like, it's getting to I feel like y'all are already running out of ideas on Gen 3, and then what we have today, I don't even recognize it as Pokemon, but so, like, a lot of the ones I see in the game, like, there could be, like, you know, spitting copies of pals, right? And I would just not know because I'm out of the loop. But, you know, it's a tunnel. Nope. Thought I discovered something new, but no. Like, another one is like Anubis in Pal World. Like, that is, you know, that is a Lucario for sure. That is a brown version of Lucario. Straight up. And then you have the legendary Pokemon. Don't remember what his name is, but it's a spitting image of Latios, basically. And that when you see that, you're like, man, you know, you're like, I get it, you tweaked him, but you need to just turn the dial one more time and tweak it a little bit harder. Like, don't even copy the eyes, you know, or the shape. Just make them fatter, you know, give them a mohawk or something. Like, just completely stay away from the body style, and you should be all right. And I wish they would have made the PAL spheres, aka the Pokeballs, a little bit smaller to be more like Pokeballs. And again, like, that's not right. Like, they, you know, you shouldn't do that. They did the right thing and made their own version of it. But they're so fat when they throw them. I'm like, oh, it would just be so much nicer if they're the size of a baseball. It's like something already exists that's been created before. Was the perfect shape and look of what you were going for. But yeah, they've already, you know, said they were putting out updates for Pal World. Am I going the wrong way here? Oh, I am. Christ. Which I think is really cool. That seemed pretty fast. They're gonna update the building system, crafting, add PvP, more, I think, like, better raid zones, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm excited for that. They're probably like, holy crap, you know, we made so much money in 3 days. We weren't ready for that. Let's throw them a couple updates, keep them happy, keep them playing. But I'm enjoying. I'm going at a slow pace, literally just base building and stuff. And I've kind of gotten boosted with some, you know, with the help of friends on some levels, just so I could unlock the stone structures at level 18 and stuff like that. But I enjoy going at a slow pace. I've seen some people kind of just speed race to the end, which the game's only been out a week and people already, you know, level 50 catching legendaries with the full, like, metal base and stuff like that. But, you know, if you enjoy doing that, that's all good. But I go at a much slower pace. I try to enjoy every little, you know, nook and cranny of the game, and in the corners of, like, the maps and stuff. Kind of fully explore, you know, take the time to sit there and, like, really get the crafting down and stuff like that. That's what I find enjoyable. Because in WoW, it's almost the opposite, just because I've been playing it so long. I only enjoy just speed racing to hit, you know, level 70, just so we can start doing PvPs or some mythic pluses. I don't enjoy the journey anymore. Like, I just want to, I don't care about leveling, but also, you know, I don't want to spend, you know, $40 on a boost. But also don't want the headache of having to regrind a character. So that's one thing this this challenge slash journey has helped me with is I appreciate the leveling process a little bit more. Slow things way down again, like it's classic almost. Because there is something like special about, you know, being out in this massive world that exists out here. You know, and say you're going out and you're just in the middle of Mulgore. You know, this whole zone by yourself, or, you know, I'll just pick a random one. Like the wetlands. Like you could be the only person in this whole zone just out here grinding and questing, you know, listening to music or just enjoying the process. And there is something special about that. So you don't have to race to end game. Like you can slow down and enjoy the journey. Just go ahead and do the supply crates first, because they're just going to be over here one shot and everything. Alright, yeah, because I do want to go across here, do this zone as well, just because I haven't done it in a while. I would say, like, Classic was the last time I've done it, so yeah. Starting a new character in TBC. So, yeah, it'll be fun to do that.
what you do, Craven? You be feeling well? Ikamboka. Just remember, not everything regenerates.
Never trust a big barb and a smile. Yeah, I think this is the quest. Yeah, the poison extraction totem. So if you pick up this quest on any character and don't turn it in ever, like if you just have the quest in your quest log, you can summon this totem anytime you want. It doesn't do anything, but it is kind of cool just to be able to have a totem you can summon out every, 10 seconds just for fun. I don't know if they have fixed that. Like, I don't know if they've changed that. Like, once you leave this zone, if this will disappear, but it is cool. Like, so if you're, I don't know, bored in the Dragon Isles and you want a free green totem, this is how you can get one. It's basically a toy. But again, I don't know if they patched it since the last time I did that. I don't know. I want to say it was like Cataclysm maybe, or even maybe Legion. I don't remember. It's been a while. But I'm gonna go ahead and do it just because I want the actual XP, which I didn't even do it right.
It's too far away.
Yeah, because we want the XP more than we want a little green totem we can summon whenever we want.
I'm out of range.
But it's a neat little World of Warcraft, hidden gem if you never knew about it before. But I think it's pretty well known by this point. But on the downside, if you do want the totem, and you've already done this quest and turned it in, you're out of luck. You'd have to start on another character to pick up this quest, and then you would have it. So you've already done it, I'll say years ago, you no longer have access to it. But it's like, it's just a little green totem. It's not like it's end of the world. Thanks, man. I appreciate you one-shotting that guy for me, even though I needed that. Did I miss a quest? Picking up a quest too? Yeah. This is why we don't stream late, because I'm kind of all over the place. Missing quests and kind of just running randomly.
Spirits be with you, man.
But yeah, I've never heard of that game, Enshrouded. So that's why it's nice to have a partner like Colin in your team, because he's always up to date on stuff like that. Like, it would not be a very good podcast if he wasn't in the group, because, all I would talk about is like WoW, and in Magic the Gathering. You know what I'm saying? So it's nice that he's up to date on stuff, and he's always sending me stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, that looks great. That looks crazy. And he's like already played it. You know, he's, you know, sunk, you know, 100 hours into it or something. He's just one of those people. He's that one friend that, you know, is just always just plays everything and enjoys every game. Doesn't matter what it is. They're gonna try it. Because usually I'll see something, you know, I gotta go look at, you know, a trailer, the gameplay mechanics, you know, see, is it like multiplayer, co-op, is it single player, you know, how many, you know, what patch are they on, how many updates does it get, you know, who's the company that makes it. But he's just like, if it's a game, I'm gonna play it. Screw it. I don't care about none of that. If it's fun, it's fun. So, with that, I have been trying to kind of open myself up more to playing different games and just playing more games in general with a healthy balance. Like, still want to, you know, work out and stuff, and, you know, make sure you're getting enough sleep and not drinking energy drinks at, you know, 9:30, but you know, find that healthy balance where you still get your gaming in, so you have enough time to actually enjoy it and experience the full in-depth dive of the video game, whatever you're choosing is, and put a respectable amount of hours into it so you can give an actual, like, opinion. So I'm still searching for that balance. That's basically all I'm trying to say. To where you can get off work, you know, cook, eat, you know, work out, go on a walk, whatever you need to do. Get your outside time, and then sit down and put a you know, 3 or 4 hours in, maybe, if you can. Even for, like, a lot of people, especially adults that have kids, and say you don't get home from work until 8 o'clock, that's kind of impossible, right? Like, it's not reasonable. You can't do that unless it's on the rare occasion, like maybe on Friday nights or Saturday nights, where you can kind of get away with that. But that's the thing about getting older, is just finding that balance. Like, no, if I get off at exactly 11:46, I can get 6 hours and 48 minutes of sleep in before I need to wake up and go back to work. Or, you know, like, Mom, maybe I can push it to 12:30 tonight. I can sacrifice a little bit of sleep. I'll take a nap tomorrow. When really it doesn't, you know, that doesn't work like that. You need to get a healthy amount of sleep every night. I'm not saying you should go and sacrifice sleep to get your gaming in, but, you know, we all do it. We all have that we're doing that calculation in our heads during the week every night. Looking up at that clock, being like, oh man, you know, I got 36 minutes left to enjoy this game. You know, and then 36 minutes later, you're like, oh, I can push it another 30 minutes, you know. I'll take a shower in the morning. Trust me, we've all been there. Retirement is, oh yeah. Retirement is going to be wild. Because I think we're right on the cutoff of the millennial, right? Generation. And you know, I think we've talked about this on a podcast before, but we're both definitely going to be, gaming when we're older, regardless, because that's when all the good, crazy stuff is going to be out. Like, can you imagine 40 years now, where we're in our like 70s, what kind of games they're going to have? What kind of systems? I mean, it's definitely not going to be consoles anymore. That's for sure. Like, we're going to be not even VR headsets. It's going to be crazier and, like, more wild than anything your imagination can probably handle right now. That's what we're going to be doing. Maybe some Ready Player One type vibes. I don't know. We might even move past that in 40 years. There's no telling. Or, the dinosaurs, land back on Earth from their comet and wipe us all out. Who knows? They take over and rule. That could definitely happen too. Or the, civilization that's been hiding in Jupiter this whole time. They're like, you know what? We're tired of the old gas giant. We're going to go to Earth. They've had it a little bit too easy over there, We want some of that 70s sunshine, good weather. Yeah, I said level 15, but I don't know. I'm feeling it tonight. We might just get to level 10 and call it good. This might be just a little baby stream, but just one of those nights. I know it's Saturday, but these fights are so rewarding. Which fights are you talking about? Are you talking about these? These are kind of starting to sketch me out, because these are... You really got to work for that 40 XP we're getting per kill. And I didn't even pick up the attack plans over there. Yeah, you liking the combat so far? Because like I've been saying on the podcast for a while now, that's one of the main things you need to get right in your video game. Is you need to get that combat smooth, baby. It needs to be butter smooth, responsive, like coherent to a lot of the other video games. I'm not saying you gotta copy like WoW's combat system, because it is really smooth. It's so smooth. Especially when you see these groups doing like 30 plus keys, like with crazy one-shot mechanics and stuff like that. It is still, the combat is smooth. So if you get that right, you're off to a good start. Because, there's different types of combat. Like, it doesn't have to be, there's turn-based, you know, like a Final Fantasy, like 7 style. And then there's like WoW, where it's, you know, more reactive. And then Elden Ring, you know, Dark Souls, games like that, it's a little bit, it's like a slower, just everything feels a little bit heavier. Like you really, it's a more calculated type mindset when you're playing those types on your dodges and your parries and stuff like that. So like the combat doesn't have to be like one dimensional, it just has to be smooth, whatever you pick. It just, I don't know, it needs to feel right for the game. That's basically all I'm saying.
What you want?
Someone call for the doctor?
Ya seek me help? I be getting too old for this. Good luck.
Is that did we just get an upgrade? Oh, 3 to 4 damage. We are going to be pumping now. Pump mode engaged. Literally just sell everything. Does not matter. We don't need it. We will not use it. Just sell it all. There is a white and gray item vendor in Orgrimmar that I know of, so I'm excited for that. I don't think it scales, but you know, we'll see. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm just not remembering correctly last time I looked at it. But yeah, we'll go check that out as soon as we get to Org, whenever that is. But it wants us to go to Razor Hill next, but we're gonna come down here to Darkspear.
It's too far away.
Yeah, so what's the one thing we were talking? Yeah, so the one thing you need to get first, in my opinion, when making a new game is to get your combat smooth. Get your combat right, and then worry about everything else. And I feel like it's hard to make a bad game when your combat just feels so good that everything else, like, I can put up with. You know, if your lore sucks, you know, that's one thing, but that's, you know, that's always going to be like in the background unless you're playing a straight up story driven campaign, you know, chapter by chapter. I could still put up with it if your combat is good. Another thing I would avoid is really complicated systems like your magic systems, or just say with gear, runes, or just anything weird like that. If your system is simple but effective, that's another easy win.
Yeah, man. Let's
But if you like start, you know, if you start getting into these deep dive type systems where you're like, you gotta min-max and tweak these little settings everywhere to get an optimal character, that, you know, you have to go look up guides or other YouTube videos or other streamers, or that's all they do is review these complicated talent trees. I don't think that's good either. Like, you can keep it in depth, and what's the word I'm looking for? You can have like your talent system or whatever kind of system you're doing. You can have it kind of ever evolving, right, with the like patches and stuff, but not let it get too out of hand to where it's almost overwhelming to a new player to be like, I don't want to deal with all this. Like, I don't want to sit here and read, you know, paragraphs upon paragraphs and have up 6, you know, tabs on the same talent tree just to see what I'm doing. You know, it doesn't have to be like that. But it doesn't need to be like brain dead easy like the old talent trees. And like, just WoW, for example, the talent trees that they switched to, and I think Mist, WoD, Legion, and Shadowlands, where it had the, you know, like the 3 rows and, you know, 4 tiers or whatever, where you had like 15 options to pick talents. That's boring, right? Like, we want more. I like the changes they made to the trees. And then, yeah, okay, back to what I was saying. So, good combat, you know, decent lore. Doesn't have to be, you know, 4D chess. You know, later on in your story, you're like, oh, my mind is blown. My third eye is open from the, I can't believe y'all did that. That's insane. I never saw it coming. It doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be written in crayon either. You know, good balance. Good combat, decent lore. No overcomplicated, super grindy systems. You know, there's always going to be a grind somewhere. But, you know, you don't want to make too much of a grind of anything. It's just boring and, you know, repetitive. And, you know, if you're going to have, you know, PvP, you know, you want to put in some PvP. Because that player base is always going to exist in any video game, even if you don't want it to. That's what we're looking for in Pal World right now. They're like, man, if you could, like, duel other trainers without the consequences of, you know, killing each other's Pokemon, dude, that would be so much fun. You know how you have like a duel in WoW, it's just you go down to 1 health and you lose. Like, that would be a lot of fun. Oh, it's a green. we can't use it. So yeah, so what was I saying? Smooth combat, decent lore, no overcomplicated systems, PvP, and then your loot. You know, get your looting correct, especially if you're making an RPG, adventure style game. Like you want that loot to be on point. Make it feel special when you get, like how the start of WoW was. You know, when you got that first green, you know, that's when some magic happened deep inside, to where the hook, you know, is sunk and you're getting reeled in, and it's too late. There's no turning back. You'll never see your end of the ocean ever again, your friends or family. You're caught, and there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, that's my list for any new game. Combat, PvP, story, no complicated systems, and loot. Get those right, and I mean, I don't see where you can go wrong. That's what crushed me on like Shadowlands. If I didn't have two friend groups to play with in Shadowlands, I would have gave up that game or that expansion a long time ago. I had a group of buddies who I've known forever who only PvP'd. So when I wanted to PvP, I would hit them up, do arenas, BGs, whatever. And then I had a group of friends in my guild who like pushing keys in Mythic Plus. And they were always ready to grind some keys. Any time of the day you get on, they were ready to pump a key. It did not matter. Like say you just got a fresh 25 key. As soon as you whispered one of them, they'd already had the group together ready to go. So if it wasn't for that, having those two friend groups to play with, I would have gave up on Shadowlands and unsubscribed from it a long time before I did, because I gave up about like halfway through the third patch, the final patch. The whole jailer thing at the end, like I could care less. Because one of the main things, especially starting out, was you had like systems on top of systems on top of systems, like just making it feel like everything was a grind, you know, from your legendaries, like, oh, I gotta go farm Torghast. And I mean, this argument has been beaten to death over Torghast. I'm not gonna harp on it too much, but like, okay, I gotta go do Torghast, go get my soul dust or whatever it was called. And then, okay, I unlocked another tier in my conduit tree. I need to go unlock this conduit. Like, how do I get it? Where is it? Oh, it's a random drop out of a chest, out of a dungeon or a raid. Like, okay, I gotta go look for a group for, one of these dungeons, and then just hope I get it. Like, oh, okay, and then, oh, I'm in this dungeon, maybe I'll get the legendary I need too, so I can actually craft it, because I've been pumping Torghast for the past 2 weeks, and this legendary should drop from here, from this boss. It's like I've only run Necrotic Wake like 30 times. By the way, I ran Necrotic Wake. I think it was my most ran dungeon in Shadowlands. hundreds of times, hundreds of keys on Necrotic Wake. Like, I never once got the mount at the end. And I had a buddy who came in, I think, in Season 2 of Shadowlands. On his second run of Necrotic Wake, he got the mount at the chest at the end. And I was like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, man. And more annoying than that, I had a buddy who came back to Shadowlands. He had taken a hiatus off of WoW for a while. And this was in the downtime, and I think this kind of the downtime in between patches, when kind of nobody was really like doing anything. And Colin had just started playing again, and he's really big into like mount collecting. So we were kind of hitting up a bunch of the mount farms like Invincible and the Onyx. What's his name? What is his name? The Onyx Cloud Serpent. The Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent. I think that's the one that drops this off of Shaw of Anger in Pandaria. So what I'm trying to say is we would hit all the famous farms, every day. And then my buddy came in. And before that, let me back up. Before that, I had been running ICC like daily, weekly, for months to try to get Invincible's reigns. And like nothing, like never got it. My buddy comes back on his first day and he's like, you know what? I'm just, since you just ran it, I'm going to run it for funsies, right? Just real quick, I'm going to run it. And sure as shit, he got Invincible's reigns off his first run out of ICC. And it's those moments that make me just not want to play. Don't get me wrong, I was happy for him. But I was super frustrated. And another one was Invincible, or Tashielact from Legion. I kid you not. I spent from BFA to Season 2 of Shadowlands running that raid to get Tashielact. Actually, let me look it up. What is the actual? I forgot what the raid is. Even though I've done it so many times. Let's see, Legion. And Taurus, the Burning Throne. Yeah. So the secret weapon drop off of Agrimar is Tashielact, the sword. Right? Super low drop chance. I don't know. It's like under 1%, I think, or something like that. I had been running it for like 2 years, right? 2 or 3 years, like straight. Never got it on any character. A buddy in my guild comes in, runs it one time, and Tashielact drops. Those are the moments that I'm like, you know what? I've given this company too much money, and I quit. It's not worth it. But it is. But anyway, I'm going to stop ranting. We hit level 10. I'm going to stop there because, like I said, we started this stream a little late tonight. And we'll pick it back up tomorrow. But I'm happy we got to level 10. So thanks for tuning in. Hopefully, we won't have to make any new characters. This will be the guy, son of Voltorb, to revenge his father's downfall in Outland and make it to 70. Thanks for watching.